Hi, anybody. Bit of a season preview here for the Toronto Maple Leafs, in my opinion. Um, we are at the trade deadline mark in the season. The trade deadline just passed 3 p.m. today, Eastern. Let me know down in the comments. Do you think the Leafs did good this trade deadline? Do you think they did bad? Did they get enough? Did they need to add more? Did they get too much? Did they change the lineup too much? Because sometimes that's just as bad as not doing enough. My opinion, I think this was a very, very exciting trade deadline. Haven't had this kind of action since, everyone's saying the 2004 season, which is pretty accurate, but trade deadlines in the past have been so bland and blah that this one just seems over the top almost. But I think the Leafs did pretty good overall. Started with the blockbuster, the Ryan O'Reilly, Noel Acciari trade. Those two coming in. I think Ryan O'Reilly is the biggest name that they got. Probably going to be the biggest contributor on the team. Previous Conn Smythe winner, Stanley Cup champion. So I think he's going to have the most actual impact in the playoffs. But I think Noel Acciari is actually underratedly one of the better trades that the Toronto Maple Leafs made and acquired in a player here. He's really going to motivate that bottom six, I feel, and just, bring those guys that they didn't have the best confidence. He'll elevate them, I really feel. He brings a lot of tenacity to the bottom six, and I really like that. And then they go ahead and they acquire Jake McCabe and Sam Lafferty from the Chicago Blackhawks. What a pickup here. Now, Jake McCabe, he's coveted kind of as that top 4D there. I don't know if he'll live up to that. The guy's never played a playoff game in his life in the NHL, so high expectations for this guy that doesn't have the pedigree behind him. But you know what? Nobody's ever made it until they've made it. So I feel like with Jake McCabe, he's got the raw tools that he can bring really, competitive nature to the playoffs. And I think he's going to slot well in that top four. Hopefully we can get our defensive pairings in order here and just get the lineup for game one ripe and ready to go. The other acquisition in that trade, Sam Lafferty, he slots in the bottom six as well. He, I think, is going to be on the third line, maybe. Third line right wing or something like that. He's got some center abilities, so if we get some injuries, he could slot over to the middle if we need him to. Overall, I think that was another really good trade. Good bottom six acquirement there, and also top 4D. Then the Leafs went out and they traded away Rasmus Sandin for Erik Gustafsson, and I kind of called Sandin being traded here. I'm not going to take any credit. I had no insider info, but I just felt like Sandin was not the guy that they wanted to trust in the playoffs. He's a smaller guy. Yes, he does hit, but he's small and his hits don't really do much half the time, right? And he wasn't scoring like he thought he was going to be. He held out for the contract, and then he didn't perform up to why he held out, right? He was supposed to be this coveted top 4D, and he just couldn't crack the top four. And then they trade away Pierre Engvall, and pretty much to, make the cap work. Also, same day, the three trades, right? They acquire Luke Schenn. They reacquire Luke Schenn from the Vancouver Canucks. Some picks get floated around there. But Gustafsson and Luke Schenn on the back end are good additions. Gustafsson automatically comes in as the Leafs' top points defenseman. Automatically. He was playing really well in Washington, manning their first power play. He made a mistake on the Blake Coleman goal the other night, but you know what? These guys need some time to acclimate into the Leafs lineup. So you can't expect them to come in and be superstars, at least not every trade. Yeah, Ryan O'Reilly came in, hat trick, second game. That was kind of unseen, but Gustafsson and Luke Schenn, these are great depth additions. Honestly, I think Gustafsson could be an everyday player. And Luke Schenn, he can be so big and physical that he needs to be almost an everyday player in the playoffs. Maybe not every game, but there's definitely games where he's going to need to come in and be a physical presence for the Leafs in the playoffs. So overall, I think the trade deadline was like a B+ for sure. I think they could have, but you never know. Like, I think they could have addressed the goalie situation a little bit, but you also need another team to tango with there. I was hoping maybe they could scoot off Matt Murray's money onto another team to bring in another goalie. I was really looking for UC Saros, but that just didn't work out. So we're stuck with an injured Matt Murray, a fish out of water Samsonov sometimes, and an AHL All-Star goalie that looks kind of solid. So this is going to be really interesting going into these last stretch of games and into the playoffs. What goes on with the goalie situation? Now, you don't need a star goaltender to win the cup. It just really would help you. And whoever is getting between the pipes in game one has to stare down Vasilevsky, and that is no small task to live up to. So whoever it may be, I hope the best for you in that game one situation. Really good trade deadline. I think they did really well. Lots of moves, lots of action, and they even acquired Boston's first round pick back. So we have a first in the upcoming draft. Anyhow, let's go through their record. Like, Toronto's doing really, really well. 4th overall in the league, 62 games played, 38 wins, 16 losses, 8 OT losses for 84 points, and a goal differential of plus 47. That's pretty good. It's nowhere near Boston's 103. That's crazy. But record, look really good. First round with Tampa Bay is inevitable. Now for some of these, we'll start with the forwards, I guess. Pretty much like Marner's team. This is Marner's team this year. Willie is getting all the goals, but Marner is just looking so good all season. He's finding guys. It's like he's got eyes in the back of his head sometimes. He's just finding the tape of other guys' sticks with the puck. It's really fun to watch. Matthews, bit of a down season. That has become very apparent as of late, especially. He's only got 28 goals on the season, 61 points. So he really needs to find the back of the net a little bit more. Hopefully he can do that in the playoffs. Tavares, he's having a good year. He started off really, really hot. He's kind of, mellowed out a little bit here, but he's still having a really good year, 61 points as well, 27 goals. Michael Bunting, he kind of turned it on in the last couple weeks here, and he's been playing pretty well. Now, in the last couple games, he's kind of slowed down a little bit, so I can be a little nervous, but I think he'll do fine. Yarncrook kind of slotting back up in that second line left wing with O'Reilly moving down to that third line center. We will see how that experiment goes. And then the bottom six is kind of a bunch of new guys that, need to give us a few games to see what they're all about. On the back end, we've had a really reliable season from Giordano, minus all the icings that he likes to pull off, but that's okay. TJ Brody, he was hurt for a bit. Same with Morgan Riley, hurt for a bit. But Brody's just always solid. Love Brody's game. Always a solid defenseman back there. Morgan Riley needs to be scoring more for sure. Not really sure what's going on with Riley's season. He's getting the assists, so the points are still there, but the goals just simply are not. He's got 2 on the year, and that needs to come up for sure. Justin Hall. I would have been okay if they traded Justin Hall, but Justin Hall is still on the team and he is still going to be played. Sheldon Keefe really trusts him in certain situations. He will be on the ice for those big moments, and I just hope that his decision making gets smarter and smarter every game from here on out, and he just doesn't have those brain farts. The new additions on the back end, Jake McCabe, Gustafsson, Luke Shen, these are all guys that kind of need to find their spot in the team where they fit in, and I'm sure they will do that nicely. We got a lot of defenseman depth. We've got a lot of center depth now. This team is looking really deep overall. Really liking what they're doing this year. Goalies are they're the wild card here for us. Samsonov can play amazing in like 2 to 3 games in a row, and then he could drop the next couple to lose a series or something. Who knows? I really hope that Samsonov can pull it together. If Murray comes back from injury, I hope he can be solid like he was in Pittsburgh. I don't know. I am so excited for this playoff run. This is just one of those years that you got that feeling maybe they can do it. Oh, this will be a really, really fun and exciting playoff experience, even though we're playing the same team as last year. I hope we can get better results out of this one. So I'm really excited for the rest of the season. We've got a handful of games left, like 20-something games left, I believe. And it should just be really, really fun hockey down the stretch here. This is the dog days of the season, but the trade deadline is past us now, so we can focus on just getting the lineup set for the playoffs and focus on being focused for the playoffs. So this should be fun. All right, everybody, let me know in the chat if you guys think the Leafs are going to go anywhere in the playoffs, how you think these last couple games are going to go before the playoffs start. Just let me know overall what the feel of the team is. If you enjoyed this video, comment, hit like, hit subscribe. Love the new subscribers. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Have fun watching the rest of the season, everyone. Go Leafs, go! Woo!